and welcome to this episode of Batavia Spotlight, where we get to know more about community organizations and businesses here in Batavia and in our local communities. I'm Ellen Huxtable, your host, so let's get started. And I'm so pleased this morning to have Kevin Trindle, which is with Trindle Jensen's law group that's here in Batavia. So thank you, Kevin, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about Trindle Jensen's.
Well, we're a law firm.
That's good.
And we're located in Batavia. We also have an office in Aurora.
I didn't know that.
We do. Have had one for a long time.
And what kind of law do you practice?
Well, we have some areas of concentration. So, for instance, I do estate planning and business law and real estate and municipal law. And there are some other people in the office that do those things, but also do other things like family law, which includes adoption and child custody and support and guardianship and divorce, as well as bankruptcy. And those are our main concentrations. We sometimes get off into other things and do some general litigation and landlord-tenant things and so on. But
so I know that you also do some work for the municipalities and with Batavia, I know.
Yes, Batavia, we're the general counsel for the city of Batavia. We're also general counsel for the village of North Aurora and have been since 1967 or so when my father started representing them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, continuously since that time.
Well, you must be doing a very good job for them then.
Either that or we just had good staying power somehow.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you and the firm are involved in lots of community activities as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, since I joined the firm in '91, there's always been an emphasis on community involvement. That was always one of my father's values, and we just continued forward with that. So, heavily involved in the local bar association. Four of the attorneys in the firm right now have all been on the King County Bar Association Board of Managers, and 3 of us have been past presidents.
Wow.
We have 6 past presidents going back in time with our firm, which I think is the most in King County. So very involved in the local bar association, trying to improve the delivery of legal services in the local area. But also in other ways, we have a plan commission member in another community. We've had school board members and so on. We actually drafted the legislation for IMSA way back.
Did you really?
Before I joined the firm.
Oh my goodness.
And represented IMSA for a number of years. But we have Kiwanis, Lions Club, Rotary members. We have people involved in nonprofit legal aid organizations locally and nationally, and Fox Valley Music Foundation and Batavia Chamber of Commerce. And we really encourage that, and every single one of our attorneys take that to heart.
That's great. Now, how many attorneys are there in the firm?
We have 6 right now.
And is it primarily in the areas then of personal law as opposed to corporate law? Although you said you do a lot of corporate work as well.
We do. A lot of small businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, setting up corporations and LLCs and then, representing them for the ongoing issues that they might have or needs or planning. But estate planning and family law, the focus, we don't do personal injury, we don't do workers' compensation or medical malpractice or things like that.
Mm-hmm. So many things that you do. What makes your firm special? What are the things that make your firm somebody that would be a really good fit for somebody looking for a lawyer or firm to work with?
Well, I think the extension of that community-mindedness makes us different. Having that kind of an orientation and having that as a value that we express about, I think helps us to relate to people, to understand people. I think we are good communicators, at least we try to be, and that's often a negative spoken about attorneys. Well, I don't know what's going on with my case. They don't call me back. We try not to be like that. We try to be good communicators. And I think we're pretty down to earth and able to relate to people, and I think that helps us to stand out.
So if somebody was looking for a lawyer, what is the process that they would go through? They call you up, and what happens next?
Well, looking for a lawyer is, I think, a significant issue because there are a lot of us out there.
Yes.
And so how do you find one that is going to be a good fit
Exactly.
and also going to be reputable and do a good job? Honestly, the internet is a great resource, although people that you know are actually a good resource too. So word of mouth, if someone's had a good experience with an attorney, that's a very good way to start. But then looking up on the internet, looking at, you can find out a lot from a biographical information or a website. But then, in that initial meeting, is it a good fit? Is there a relationship? Is there, do you think, can I trust this person? Do I have confidence in this person? Go with your gut because your gut's usually right.
So if somebody were interested in learning more about your firm or exploring some issue they might have with the firm, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, they can call our phone number, which is 630-406-5440. They can also go to our main website, which is batavialaw.com. We also have an estate planning website, foxvalleyestateplanning.com, and a family law website, ilfamilylaw.com. Those would all be good ways to get a hold of us.
That's great. So if somebody's looking for a lawyer, they've got multiple ways to find you. You have multiple attorneys on your firm that are going to be able to work with them. And it sounds like something that is also something that's very community involved because you are in the middle of downtown Batavia. So for people that are in the Fox Valley, you're very accessible physically as far as being able to come and actually see you in your offices.
You can even be jogging down the bike trail and stop in.
That's great. So if somebody comes jogging down the bike trail and stop in, we'll ask them to please say that they heard about you on Batavia Spotlight.
That would be nice.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for being our guest on Batavia Spotlight.
Thank you.
Yes. And now we'll take a brief time out to hear from some of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
The Kane County Chronicle is your best source for news and information in print and online in the Tri-Cities and Caneland.
This is Chronicle Country. This is Chronicle Country. This is Chronicle Country.
This is Chronicle Country.
This is Chronicle Country.
Welcome back to Batavia Spotlight. I'm very pleased to be joined today by Sue Lusted, who is with the Valley Sheltered Workshop here in Batavia. Thank you for joining us, Sue.
Good morning, Alan. Thanks
Good
for
morning.
having me.
Yes, tell us about Valley Sheltered Workshop. Many people don't know about you.
This is true. Valley Sheltered Workshop was founded in 1966 by a pastor in Batavia named Reverend Johnstone, and his mission was to provide employment for the disabled. And at the time, he had a son who was 18, and 18 was the age that you would exit the school system. Okay. And being disabled, there were less likely job opportunities for the disabled back then. So he had several businessmen in Batavia that he was friends with, and met with them, and they provided and started the piecework that we are still doing today. So what that means is that, and Furnace Electric was the first company, they had some little hand jobs that needed to be done by hand. And they coordinated the delivery of these parts to the workshop at the time, and then they would work on them during the day, and then someone from the company would come and then pick up the completed jobs and take them back to Furnace. They'd get checked in, and then we go on to the next day and see what we would get. This is still happening today. We have several more companies than we did back in the 60s. I want to say I probably work with about 22 to 25 companies. Some of them might be seasonal. Some of them I only see once. They find me and they just have a job that we'll only do once. But I do have regular weekly companies. I'll just throw a name out there. Burgess Norton in Geneva is one of our companies that comes weekly with a job for us. We make a box, a simple box. You can't make a box, a machine can't make a box. So again, hand assembly. We make the lid, we make the bottom, and then we put the two parts together. And they go into a large container that that he comes to pick up weekly because it goes back to his business, and the people on the line that need the box are actually taking a Honda car part and putting it in the box, and the production continues once we've made the part that helps them. I have 22 employees right now. We're open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I can only handle 16 a day due to staff employee ratio. So not everybody works 5 days a week. Some of the longer employees that have been there for 30 plus years.
Oh my goodness!
Because when they find us, they stay and they stay. They have 5 days a week. So some of my newer employees I've hired along the way are not full time.
So you're at capacity then for the workshop?
I actually still have availability. It's just that the demand of my companies right now does not warrant me to hire more people.
I see.
It's a roller coaster. You have your peaks and valleys of you get great companies that find you, and your workload is really up there. You can go and ask existing employees, would you like to work another day?
Yes.
And then you're able to get the job turned around. But still always trying to find more work.
So that sounds like one of the things that's important for you is to find the businesses and maybe even individuals, if they've got a huge amount of things that they have to do that are small,
Yes.
and to bring them to you.
Yes.
And so now your employees are paid.
They are paid every 2 weeks. So when when that company finds me and gives me that job, Burgess Norton again gave me that box, I had to do a time study on it. Time study is Federal Department of Labor mandates us to run our workshop on the rules and regulations that they set for us. And in order to take a job in, time study means you have 2 normal people sit and perform that job for 25 minutes.
Okay.
Then you take the amount of, it's kind of a complicated math problem, but in the end you come up with a piece rate, and you're talking cents. We're considered cost effective for a company because I think Burgess Norton box is 25 cents. Every one we make, we charge them 25 cents. The employee is paid 100%.
So how are you funded then?
We have a administrative fee, I guess you would call it, that we put on when we invoice the company. United Way, every year we write for a grant with them, and they have been funding us for a very, very long time. And that is a two disbursement grant that comes at twice a year. Local churches annually will get funding from them. The clubs in the area, Knights of Columbus. I see checks that come to us from their Tootsie Roll drive. Very, very generous checks. Rotary Club, Batavia Women's Club, Batavia Mother's Club, all the checks that you see come in. And those are all helping keep our daily operations. And then several years ago, an endowment was bestowed upon the workshop. So that is that's in a trust, and it's handled, by a financial firm. And that should keep our doors open for another 50. We've been there 53 years, so hopefully it'll keep us there that much longer.
Well, I think that's important to know, though, that whatever your vendors are being paid to come in and give you the work,
right,
that's going totally to the individuals
Yes.
that are helping to produce these things.
Yes.
So as far as the individuals that are your employees, what are the parameters or the criteria that would make somebody a good fit for you?
Good question, because there's so many disabilities out there.
Right.
Our facility was established to handle, we cannot handle the profound cases. So our policy kind of out there, I would say we call it a zero tolerance policy. So who I hire has to be self-sufficient.
Okay.
So, no outbursts, or, they're going to be able to eat their lunch by themselves. They're going to be able to do their work by themselves because they can't have any assistance. So, and I think it's always been easy for me, the 10 years that I've been there, to hire. I mean, everybody that's walked through my door, I feel like, has been a good fit.
That's great.
So
if somebody wants to contact you, either because they know of somebody who might be a good employee, or they know of somebody that is a vendor, or they're a potential vendor themselves, how do they find you?
well, phone number in Batavia is 630-879-2359. That's our only landline.
Okay.
No cell phones at our workshop. And our website is our name, valleyshelteredworkshop.org. For information and reading up on our history, just go to the website.
Terrific. Well, Sue, thank you so much for joining us and
Thank
telling us
you,
about it. And I
Ellen.
hope lots of people get to use your facilities and your staff and make it a win-win situation for everybody.
Thank you for that.
So thank you.
All right.
And now we'll take a brief time out to hear from some of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
The Trindle Jensen's Law Group has practiced law in Aurora since 1961 and in Batavia since 1994.
We focus our energy on representing people and businesses and families in the local community.
We represent clients in Kane and surrounding counties in matters ranging from divorce to wills, business law to zoning.
We focus our efforts on planning and working towards positive resolutions for businesses and families.
When clients need someone to fight for their interests, we're ready, willing, and able to act as aggressive advocates to protect their interests.
Trindle Jensen's Law Group with offices in Batavia and Aurora and located on the web at batavialaw.com.
Welcome back to Batavia Spotlight. I'm joined now by Rick Pomo, who is a member of the board for the Batavia United Way. So Rick, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Always nice to see you.
So please tell us about the Batavia United Way, what you do, where you are, and all those other wonderful things.
Oh, wonderful. Well, the Batavia United Way serves two primary functions. First of all, we raise money every year and distribute that money to 17 not-for-profits in the area that are very fiscally responsible and do a wonderful, efficient job of delivering services to Batavia residents and residents in the area. And the second thing that we do is initiate and manage a number of projects for Batavia specifically and for the greater community. And those are United Way branded, United Way staffed, but when I say United Way staffed, that is community staffed. We couldn't do what we do without help from all of our residents and all of our donors. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't start this interview by just saying thank you to all of them. This is really the story of a community, helping a community.
So what are your United Way branded projects?
So we have a number of them. We have an Adopt a Family project that helps underprivileged families to afford Christmas gifts for their families every year. I believe we helped 124 families to provide gifts this last year. We have a Success by Six project, and that allows every family to afford full-day kindergarten for their child in Batavia. And many people may not know, in Batavia we deliver half-day kindergarten standard, and if you would like to have your child participate in full-day kindergarten, that's a cost in excess of $3,000 per year. Not affordable to everybody.
Right.
With Success by Six, it is.
That's great. Now, you mentioned you serve a certain number of charities. How do you pick the charities that you serve, that you're able to support?
Sure. Those charities all apply for grants from the Batavia United Way. And those grants are reviewed by a committee on our board, and we look to see which grants are really doing the most efficient job of serving the community, which grants are needed most by the community. We are lucky enough to have a great relationship with a number of different organizations, from the school district to the city of Batavia, to Batavia Main Street, the Chamber. They all let us know what's needed most in the community. For instance, one of the things the community really has been asking for a while is access to a service called 211. 211, you can think of it like a 411 for not-for-profit organizations. When you have something important in your life, an important need, but it's not an emergency, it's not, I'm going to die or my health is in jeopardy immediately. it's tough to know who to call. We're lucky enough to live in a community where there are over 1,000 different social services available to us depending on what we might need.
I had no idea.
Most people don't. It's hard to know. And it's really hard, especially in a time of crisis, to get on the internet and try to determine which one of those is appropriate for you. Now, you have access to 211. Simply pick up your phone and dial 211. And then an agent will pick up on the other end. You describe the issue or challenge that you're having in your life. Maybe that's, I'm going to have a hard time paying my utility bill this month and I don't want the lights to get turned off. Or I can't afford my rent. Or you might even have access to health insurance with a large deductible and you simply can't afford your insulin this month. That's an important issue that, if we address it early, doesn't turn into an emergency later, right, in the emergency room. And the truth is, there are a number of facilities in the area that can give you access to that insulin at no or low cost.
So how is the Batavia United Way funded? Where do you get the funds you were able to disperse?
Yeah, great question. So we are funded through employer giving programs. So if your company offers it, you can sign up to have just a few dollars each week taken away and stowed away for United Way. That'll get routed to the Batavia United Way if your address is in Batavia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We have residential giving programs as well, and we'll send out mailers for that. You can go to our website at bataviaunitedway.org and give online if you so choose. And for a number of projects like 211, we are very fortunate to have some large donors. So that project is funded by Batavia schools, or I should say Kane County school districts at large. Kane County government, the Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley, and the Dunham Fund. They have all made sure that we have a great start with the 211 project and have 3 years of funding ongoing. And we're still looking for more contributions to keep that project rolling.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we have lots of donors that make this all possible.
So now for 211, is that available during business hours, or when is that service available?
It's available 24/7 in 150 different languages. And when you call, it is completely anonymous. You don't have to give your information. You can simply be curious. You can be slightly concerned about a problem that's happening and not quite sure if it's time to contact somebody. It is. It's a good time when we just have a slight concern. Give a call to 211 and find out what resources are available to you.
So then the resource database is not just limited to what's in Batavia, it's for a broader community then.
It's a great story because initially the Batavia United Way was interested in providing that service to Batavia, naturally. But in order to provide that service, you have to find an accredited call service for 211 services. They only service entire counties. That turned this project into a project that, cost-wise, effort-wise, was larger than anything the United Way in Batavia had done before.
Absolutely.
And it matches in cost and funding probably our yearly budget. So we've really doubled in terms of funding what we've done in the past with this project.
And so for the United Way, I assume that you work with and can use volunteers for different things?
Oh, we absolutely can use volunteers. So whether you have a little money to help us or time, we would love to be able to use your whatever you have to give. So you can come visit us at bataviaunitedway.org and you can donate online. You can give us your information. You can send an email to our executive director, Melinda Kintz, who would be happy to take your email or your call.
Do you have an email that's available to people or a website address?
You can contact our executive director at melinda@bataviaunitedway.org.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for telling us about the many opportunities that all of us have to help United Way serve our community.
Thank you, Ellen. We appreciate you.
And thank you for tuning into Batavia Spotlight. Remember, you can watch us on Comcast Channel 17, AT&T UVerse Channel 99, or on our website, www.mybatv.com. You can also go to our YouTube channel, which is BATV 1017. I'm your host, Ellen Huxtable, and we'll see you again next time. If you have any questions or comments, please contact us at 630-937-5413 or email us at info@mybatv.com. Have a wonderful day.